Hey gang, Tony here, and I'm back with my weekly movie roundup. I'm sorry that this one is a day late, but I was a little hungover yesterday from the Google Hangout, and I also wanted to go out to the movies, which was basically the rest of my day I was out, so I didn't have a chance to shoot the video. But I'm here today, I'm making amends, and I will have this all ready for you, hopefully uploaded today as well. Alright, so why don't we start with the movie that I actually went to see yesterday. That was Kingsman: The Secret Service. This was a fun movie. I originally was going to go see Chappie, and then I read some slightly negative reviews, and I kind of second-guessed myself on that particular choice and went with the Kingsman because it had generally better ratings from what I saw. And it looked like it would be a fun, exciting movie, and it was. It was a lot of fun. There were some really gonzo moments in it that I loved, and there are also some unexpected plot developments, not twists, but just things that you wouldn't expect, which is always good. I like watching a movie and not knowing exactly what's going to happen. So yeah, overall, just a great movie. I highly recommend that one. I'm definitely going to see it again when it comes out on video. I'm not going to rate it or anything, but I do recommend it. So, and it's a good one for the theaters. I tend not to go to the movies very often, and if I do go to the movies, I want it to be a movie that is worth seeing on the big screen, and I think that this works for that. Next up, Parallels. This is a Netflix instant. I really enjoyed this movie as well, uh, but forewarning for you here, because I didn't realize this upon watching it for the first time. I was watching it and like, all right. So basically, the idea is that these two people are looking for. Well, no, there's more than two people, isn't there? Anyway, brother and sister plus friend are looking for the brother and sister's father because they got a weird phone message from him, and they go in this building that basically teleports them to parallel Earths. They don't know this, of course. Uh, it has been rightly pointed out that it's basically the plot of Sliders, if you guys remember that TV show Sliders from years back. And that's true, it's kind of like Sliders, but it was fun. It was a fun movie, and the okay, so here's the deal. I was watching it, and about 45 minutes into it, I was like, man, the pacing is way off on this. They did a lot of setup, and I couldn't figure out how they were going to end the movie within another 40 minutes or whatever. And that feeling kept increasing throughout the entire thing down to like the last 5 minutes. And then it ended on what seemed like cliffhangers. I was like, what the fuck just happened? And it completely ruined the experience. I was like, I was really enjoying it up until then. And I was like, that is bullshit. And I looked up on the internet, and it turns out this is not a movie. Although it's being billed as a movie on Netflix, or at least not being, they're not saying it's a TV show. But apparently, Parallels was originally developed as a television show that something happened, I guess, that it wasn't, picked up by wherever it was developed for. So this movie is actually just like an extended pilot, an hour and a half or so, I think it is. And I read that it's possible Netflix is kind of testing the waters to see if people like it, to see if they're going to continue to make it. I really hope they do. I mean, it's totally a fun movie, show, whatever. And even though we don't get any closure necessarily at the end of this thing, I still recommend you watch it. Just know that it doesn't really end. There's a cliffhanger ish. There's cliffhangers. There's no closure necessarily. There's a little bit of an answer to some of the stuff, but yeah, I mean, just go in knowing that and hoping that they'll make the show, and I think you'll enjoy it. I did. I did enjoy it, except for the obvious fact that I would love to know what the fuck's going on. Alright, next up, The Angriest Man in Brooklyn. I just watched this one last night. It is with Robin Williams. It was okay. I think my problem with it is that it's kind of being billed as a dark comedy, and I don't really think that it is. In fact, if you go on Netflix, it's just being called, it's under comedy, and then if you see some reviews, they'll call it a dark comedy, and I really don't think it's either. It's kind of a drama comedy. I guess they're called dramedies or whatever. It's quite serious, and although there are sort of funny moments, it's not black humor, black comedy, dark comedy, where that's a completely different thing to me. That's kind of like making light of death, and this isn't really necessarily doing that. And also, it might also be that a lot of the movie is centered around death. So basically, Robin Williams' character is a very angry person, and he is then diagnosed with a brain aneurysm, and the doctor kind of freaks out and tells him he has 90 minutes to live, which isn't necessarily true, but he kind of, and he knows that, but he kind of suddenly takes it sort of seriously and then spends 90 minutes, trying to accomplish a few things before he dies. And there's a moment with like kind of suicidal tendency stuff, and it hits kind of close to reality, given what happened to Robin Williams. And I think that maybe knowing that and remembering that as you're watching the movie, at least for me, might have put a more serious tone than they would have wanted. That's what I'm thinking, because I didn't consider it much of a black comedy. But having said all that, it was still a good movie. Maybe like 6.5 stars out of 10. I'd recommend watching it just for the sake of watching it. It's not, it's one of those movies that I'm not necessarily going to revisit. It's not something I'm raving about, but it was, worthwhile, I guess I would say. All right, next up, the night after the Google Hangout. If you didn't see our live Google Hangout with Johnny Tellez and Tiffany Villalpando, that is up. I put it in my playlist for Google Hangouts on my channel, and it's on Tiffany Villalpando Girl Terror's YouTube channel. I'll put a link maybe too somewhere down there. You check it out. After that hangout, I was drinking during the hangout, and then I continued drinking after the hangout. And when I went to bed or was getting ready for bed, I put Tucker and Dale versus Evil on for some reason, even though I've seen it about half a dozen times, and I passed out within 5 minutes. So I kind of watched that again. Horrible Bosses 2. This one, sorry, The Angriest Man in Brooklyn is a Netflix instant streaming movie, so you could get that. Tucker and Dale is instant streaming. Horrible Bosses 2 was a Redbox rental, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the first one. Second one is a lot like the first one, but not too similar, which is good. I hate when they like make a sequel to a comedy and then they just take the same jokes from the first one and kind of change them a little for the next one. I hate that shit. There are maybe like a couple moments like that, but overall it's not like an Austin Powers Part 2 kind of thing. So yeah, I enjoyed it. The plot, these movies, I'm not really there for the plot. I'm not really there for the acting. I'm there because I love, Charlie Day and what is his name? Jason Sudeikis, I think. I might be getting that wrong. And Jason Bateman, I think the other guy. Everyone in it. Kevin Spacey, Jennifer Aniston, all the comedians and actors that are in the movie. I could just watch them do anything. They're funny, and just seeing the three of them, the main characters in the movie, kind of banter and joke around and whatever. To me, it's funny. I enjoy watching movies like that. It's the same with, I know a lot of people kind of get on, for whatever reason, a lot of people hate Seth Rogen and what's his face, James Franco, and that whole gang that kind of gets together in these movies that tend to be like 2 hours long, maybe a little longer than they should be. And I know I hear a lot of like negative stuff about them. I love watching them. I don't care if the movie's plot isn't necessarily that good. I'll sit down and I'll just for the sake of watching these actors kind of do their thing, or comedians do their thing. I enjoy it. So Horrible Bosses 2. For that reason, I recommend it. If you like those guys, if you enjoyed the first one, you'll like it. Whiplash. What a fantastic movie. Whiplash. That was an Oscar nominee, probably won some categories, I'm pretty sure. And it's just a great movie. That's the one that it's about. It reminds me a little bit of, was it The Black Swan? Was that the name of that movie? With Natalie Portman. In that it's sort of about like pushing the limits and even to a certain extent obsession. And the pros and cons of that in a way. And the acting is just stupendous. The climax of the movie, stupendous. Great movie. Just see the movie. I mean, it's 9-10 stars. Great movie. And finally, this is not a movie, but I would regret not telling you to watch this, so I'm going to. Sorry, Whiplash was from the Redbox. And this is a TV show, well, a Netflix show. The entire season's available on Netflix Instant right now. The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. It's funny as hell. Tina Fey produced, the writing team from 30 Rock. You could definitely feel the tones and comedy like 30 Rock in this. Ellie Kemper is the main character. She has been in a number of different things now. Bridesmaids, The Office. She had a very small part in The Mystery Team, which I love. If you haven't seen that movie, definitely have to see that movie. But yeah, it's an awesome show. Binge watch it. Oh, I tried not to. I tried to watch only a couple of episodes a night, and I ended up finishing it off in a week, unfortunately. But it's a great show, and if you like 30 Rock, if you like Tina Fey, if you like Ellie Kemper, you're gonna love it. So check it out. All right, everybody, that is gonna do it for me. What did you watch this week? Let me know. And hopefully next week I'll have some more good stuff for you. And just so you know, I do have a unboxing that I taped a couple of days ago from Don't Eat the Gum that I'm eventually going to upload, but I'm trying to space out the videos a little bit. So you can look forward to that. And I'll be doing another unboxing the 80s stuff I forgot I own sometime midweek. But I am going back to work. My spring break was last week, and I'm going back to work tomorrow, so I got to actually do some real work, like grading and stuff. Alright, everybody, breathe deep in the night. I'll see you all soon.